All right, welcome back. We're talking about the next game, and it's the biggest one of the year, at least to this point. The Cleveland Browns come to Pittsburgh, winners of 3 in a row. They pounded Miami today, 41-24. Tim Benz, let's talk about this, not just next week, but also they have 5 left. What is the record you're looking at for a team to get into the playoffs? And, you know, even though they're going to be a team that will be a wild card most likely, you never know what can happen in the playoffs. So what do you think the goal should be in terms of wins? I
still think it should be 10-6 because, you know, the Bills keep getting helped out by their schedule, even though it gets a little bit more dicey moving forward. They've already got 8 wins, so I think they'll get 2 more between now and the end of the season. That's 10 right there for at least 1 spot. And I think you're counting on a lot if you're seeing all those other teams between the 2 teams in the South not named the Houston Texans, so Tennessee and Indy. Then you've also got the Steelers and you've also got the Browns and Oakland. If you're counting on all those teams only winning 3 more games between now and the end of the season, I think you're asking for a lot. So you better ask for 10. I think 10-6 probably. I can't believe I'm saying that because I thought the AFC wildcard was going to be easy to get into this year, but I think it has to be 10.
Yeah, I think you make a good point about all these teams that are involved in this now, Tim, and I think 10-6 is probably likely the last spot in, as you said, but I think the Steelers team, when we break it down and look at what's left, is probably a 9-7 team. I think they're probably going to end up just missing this thing, which I don't want to get back to the quarterback discussion again, but is why I would continue to roll with Mason Rudolph. But that being said, yeah, this is a 10-6 year. If you can sneak in at 9-7 as the Pittsburgh Steelers, by all means, who knows what can happen once you get in, at least in one round.
Yeah, and you look at all those teams that are, and I agree with Tim, that are probably going to get in at around 10-6. I don't like their chances at 9-7. What sort of damage do we expect any of them to do either? Like, I look at these teams, and you look at New England or Baltimore. Are any of them capable? Indianapolis, Houston? Like, not that
it's one game. It's one game,
I just
Jason.
don't see a point. Not that they should cancel the season or anything like that, but these teams are not anywhere near the.
You don't think the Steeler defense could go into a game and win a game?
I don't think the Steeler
not
defense.
Against the top 2.
It'll be
Have you watched New England lately? Their offense stinks. Their defense is carrying.
We don't even have to go there. We don't even have to go to Baltimore, New England. The 6th seed is probably going to get Kansas City. Right. So I mean, for as good as the Steeler defense is, I don't think they can single-handedly win a game against Patrick Mahomes.
No, they can't.
I don't.
Well, how about if he's not even in there? Who knows? There are a lot of things in one-game scenarios that can happen. My point is that's why they play this season, and that's why they did what they did with Minkah Fitzpatrick and Nick Vannett. All right. Who didn't get a chance to talk on that first topic?
I think we all did.
We all did.
Okay, never mind. I forgot.
But
I wanted to throw a question out to you guys. I got cut off. But if Mason Rudolph did not have a first-round grade as the Steelers gave him or had on him, would we be even here talking about this? I don't think we would. If he was a typical third-rounder, we'd have Duck Hodges in there and we wouldn't think twice about it. But because they had a first-round grade on him, all of a sudden we have a quarterback controversy.
I think if you watch enough Mason Rudolph football, and you can argue that it's the Big 12, so maybe it doesn't matter because it's against Big 12 defenses. But I think if you watch enough Mason Rudolph at Oklahoma State, you would understand whether he was drafted in the 1st round or the 4th round, that he deserves an opportunity to show that he's an NFL-level quarterback.
I think it's more about the age of Ben Roethlisberger than anything else, Jason, whether they have a true first-round grade on him or they really did evaluate him in the 2nd or 3rd round. It's about getting a look at a guy that might eventually replace, in their minds, Ben Roethlisberger.
All right, it's a big week coming up. Browns in town. You'll see that game on KDKA, followed by postgame. We always have a lot to talk about, but right now it's time to go round the horn for this week's Smooth Moves, brought to you by Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you will find anywhere. I'm talking about Armina Stone. Smooth Moves, and we'll start at the top with you, Chris.
I'm going to go with the sarcastic smooth move this week, as unfortunately I usually do. To anyone and everyone who was in a Penn State offensive game plan meeting room this past week and said, hey, guys, I got a great idea. Chase Young. Single, no doubles, all day. Let him run wild. He only had 4 sacks against Wisconsin. What's he going to do against us?
I'm going to go slightly more conventional with mine. Jim Rutherford got into the Hockey Hall of Fame, a well-deserved honor, even if it was a couple years too late. For anybody who's ever dealt with Jim one-on-one, talked to him, he is one of the best people you'll ever deal with. Yes, he's made some mistakes. He's also won a few Stanley Cups, and Jim has become very important in my career, and so congratulations, Jim.
I'm going to go with Youngstown State University and what they did for that injured quarterback of theirs. I don't know if you guys saw the clip that was circulating around the internet, but they had an injured quarterback that couldn't even walk in the field. They called timeout, 4th and 11, last play of the game, brought him in, took the snap, took a knee, turned it back over to the other team, and had 2 teammates carrying him off again. Obviously meant a lot to their program, and when he couldn't conclude the season, they did what they could to give him one last hurrah and a nice send-off. And it was a pretty good clip to see on the internet amidst a lot of other bad things that we've seen on Twitter this week, namely coming from Cleveland. Somewhere else in Ohio.
A variety of outstanding smooth moves by the panel here tonight, brought to you by Armina Stone. It's Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you're going to find anywhere. Mark it down, Armina Stone. Pirates have a new GM. What does that mean? We'll talk about it next.